Hey friends, welcome back to Story Time. Today's story is going to be Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. All right, now as we read the story, we're going to be thinking about who. If we remember, who is a person or an animal? What is an action or a thing? And where is a place or a location? Okay, we have 4 questions that we're going to be thinking about that we need to answer. First one is, where is Alexander sleeping? Okay, next question. What does Alexander ride in to get to school? Who is having a bad day? And the last question will be, where does Alexander want to go? So as I'm reading, I want you to be thinking about those 4 questions, and then we're going to try and answer them at the end. So again, Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I know we've all had days like that, but luckily they're just a few. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard. And by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. To have all that happen first thing in the morning, right after you get out of bed, that's a lot. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. So there's breakfast, and then there's Alexander contemplating going to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smashed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. Invisible castle? Something tells me he didn't even try and draw a picture. But who knows? At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? Probably 15 and 17. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Mayo was his second best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone and lands in Australia. Wow. Alexander's having a rough day. I don't know if he's handling it so well, especially if he's telling people to go sit on a tack. That could hurt. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds. And Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on it. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? I wonder whose. Probably Alexander's, yeah. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Woohoo, man. This guy is having it tough. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist. And Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. Fix my tooth there. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for my mom to get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. A crybaby. A crybaby. And while I was punching Nick, for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me. She yelled at him for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. Nobody even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy just plain old white sneakers. But they can't make me wear them. Ooh, there's quite an attitude there. Some kids may not even have shoes. Then again, I think Alexander is having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with the copying machine. But I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as could be, except for my elbow. He also said, don't fool around with the phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick me up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Wow, look at the mess in Dad's office. Woo! There were lima beans for dinner. I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV. I hate kissing. Ugh. Ugh. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain. And I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. went to bed, Nick took my pillow he said I could keep. And the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It's been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. From start to finish, his day has been tough. My mom said some days are like that. Even in Australia. So, that ends our book. I hope you guys do not have the day that Alexander had. Ever. That's quite a tough day. Let's get into our questions now. Okay. The first question, where is Alexander sleeping? That one was at the very, very end of the story. Think about it. Where was he sleeping? He was sleeping in his bed. Remember that? That's when he had to wear his railroad train pajamas. The nightlight burnt out. The cat wanted to sleep with his brother, and he bit his tongue. All right, next question. What does Alexander ride in to get to school? You remember in the story, he was talking about everybody else sitting by the window. He was smushed and scrunched, and he was going to get sick because he was all scrunched up. He was riding in a car. He was riding in a car to school. So, who is having a bad day? Who is having a bad day? Well, the title of the story tells us that. That was Alexander. He was the one who was having the very bad day. And the final question, where does Alexander want to go? Where does he want to go? He talks about going there with the dentist. He talks about accidentally calling this place. And even at the end, his mom says that sometimes people have bad days even in this place. That is Australia. Australia. So that is the where. Australia is a country, and it's also a continent on the other side of the world. So he was really looking to get away from things. So anyway, we answered our questions. Who? Let's remember, who is a person or an animal. Alexander was a who in the story, so was his mom and his dad and his brothers. Dr. Fields, the dentist, was also a who. Okay. All right, an action or a thing. An action or a thing. Let's see. When he and his brother, when Alexander and his brother were pushing and shoving each other, those are actions, pushing and shoving. A thing, Alexander's invisible castle, even though nobody else could see it, that was a thing also, as well as his plain white sneakers. Those are things. And finally, a place. Place is a where, a location. That had been Dad's office, the dentist office, the shoe store, his bedroom, and Australia. Those are all wheres. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day as much as I enjoyed reading it to you. All right. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.